Okay. Well, good morning and welcome to the April Mayor and City Managers Press Conference. We have a few things I'd like to bring up and revisit. One of the things right off the bat I want to do is congratulate Topeka Police Department and its officers as they responded to a very serious situation just this week. They were able to apprehend, after some considerable danger to the public, a suspect, and were able to keep the public safe. No citizens were injured, even though there were shots fired allegedly by the suspect, and the officers returned fire. There was no one injured in this incident at all, but a very dangerous person was taken off the street. And I want to commend the officers for the way they responded, the way they conducted themselves in a professional manner. And it's something that I think our city's population needs to recognize, that they do have a very professional police department here. And when they take action, they take it with caution for all involved. So I want to thank the chief of police and all the officers directly involved. And sometimes we don't mention the dispatchers. I think the dispatchers need a round of applause as well, because they help coordinate all that activity on the field. And so it's important to have them acknowledged for their professionalism as well. We've got a lot of things to kind of talk about, and as long as we're talking about public safety, you mentioned something, City Manager, about with the fire department as to one of their programs that they have open applications for right now.
Yeah, the fire department has what's called Camp Courage, and it's a fire camp for girls ages 16 to 20. And they put this on the last 5 or 6 years. And anyone who's interested, or anyone who knows somebody that might be interested, learning about the fire service, gaining confidence and leadership skills, or just wants to participate in an exciting summer camp, the application is open until April 30th. Again, fire camp for girls. We are going to focus entirely upon girls who may have not have thought about a career in the fire service, and this is how we get them acquainted with that subject.
Yeah, it's very intentional on the part of the fire department to try and increase the number of females in the fire service. And this idea of Camp Courage has been going on for a couple, 3 years now. And I've attended a number of the welcomings and some of the training to watch the young ladies. And they really get into this thing, and it's really funny. You can be sitting there talking, and what they'll do is they'll sound an alarm to replicate an alarm going out in the firehouse, and they have their gear that they have on the side, and they've got so many minutes, actually a minute or two, to stop what they're doing, get into their gear, get ready for service, and kind of experience what actual firefighters do on a regular basis when they respond to an emergency in the community. And the excitement that the ladies feel for that, I think really follows through, because that number of females in that profession has increased. And I think it's important for us to remind everybody that those applications are open to all. And if you have any questions at all, contact the fire department. They'll lay out what the schedule is and what your commitment is. And it's free, so I would encourage everybody to take a look at that as part of our programming. Another thing that is a real highlight that I want to bring out is our city attorney, Amanda Stanley. She's on a flight probably pretty soon now, headed back to Topeka, but has spent some time really living a dream that she's had since she became an attorney. Firstly, she started off with receiving an award that really recognizes everything that she does to transform her community. The Akudo Award from Newman College, that is the mission of the college, is that its graduates will go out into the world and seek positions where they can actually make good change in their communities and to show loyalty to that mission. And Amanda Stanley, as our city attorney, does that every day as she serves us. We're very fortunate to have her as our city attorney. And one of the things that she wanted to look forward to one of these days, and she got to do it this weekend, is to go to the Supreme Court to hear arguments with regards to homelessness. And I believe it was the Grants Pass issue that is being discussed, and she was able to get a really good seat from the memo that she sent us describing her experience to really see, as she put it, in her mind, and maybe for many of us, we see the Supreme Court justices as larger than life people. But she says, sitting right up there in front, there are people just like us making very serious decisions. And she was so grateful that she was able to take up one of her colleagues along with her to help her get around Washington, D.C. and take in the whole experience. So congratulations to her on receiving that award. And I'm glad she was able to make it to Washington, D.C. and meet one of the goals that she had set for herself. We'll have her back later on today, because later on today we are going to have a special meeting of the governing body. And that special meeting has been called by myself to discuss the process in the selection of a permanent city manager. And I'll leave that to you, city manager.
First, let me say something about Amanda. We are very proud of Amanda, and she has guided us on homelessness issues like she does a lot of issues. And this was one of the primary reasons she was out there. If I remember right, she helped write the amicus brief. Yeah. She helped review that, helped be the team of attorneys that wrote an amicus brief on this issue before the Supreme Court. So it is fitting that she's there watching them consider this. Now, city manager update. What the council will do tonight is, I believe, they will not come out of executive session and tell you here's who we picked or anything. But they're going to have another discussion about who they like, who will be my successor. And then in about a month, I would imagine in about a month, if things go right, then we'll be able to make an announcement, if not sooner, about who your next city manager will be. But don't expect an announcement tonight. The council is working very hard on this, and there are just a number of steps that both the candidates and the council has to go through. I know. I've done that for 45 years.
Yeah, and I think that's important for the public to know, that we're taking this extra time to really vet the candidates, get to really know them, really feel comfortable as a body of who we will choose or recommend for our next city manager. And it's an important position. It's probably one of the most important positions in the city level of government, because that person really directs all the work of all the staff in the city of Topeka. Sometimes people get the impression that the mayor has that responsibility, and that's not accurate at all. The city manager is the workforce manager, as it were, and administrator for a lot of our efforts. And so it's important that they have a wide range of skill sets and a vision for this community. I think it's important to really stress that, is that when we look for a city manager, we're not looking for somebody to maintain status quo, because I think everybody has given me good feedback that they feel an excitement in the city still, and that there are things still working, and we have to have somebody there who coordinates all that effort so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of providing the regular services that is our responsibility. So that's an important meeting that we're having tonight. I want to update a little bit on what I've been up to. Here recently, I attended a symposium in Brockhurst University. I was invited there to be a part of a conversation about the U.S. national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. We've seen a lot of that in the news, and I want to make sure that I'm making myself available for all strategies and information that I can bring back to Topeka, because we have a good, strong Jewish community here in Topeka that I've been familiar with for many years. And it's a relationship we want to keep strong and growing, and we want to make sure that we're taking every step to be vigilant on anything that might crop up, just like it crops up in any city when these conversations get started and no preparation is put in place. So it was a good symposium. The first gentleman is there. Vice President Kamala Harris's husband was there and was part of a panel for discussion. Came away with a lot of good ideas and thoughts. So I just want the community to know as a whole, and in specific our Jewish community, that we are vigilant and we are looking at everything we can do to make everybody safe in this community. So I just want to let people know that we are being active in that role and not reactionary. It was called Driving Out Darkness in the Heartland, and it was a 2-day event. They had a Seder and then a symposium on the following day. So it was really something I enjoyed going to. Go ahead, City Manager.
Following up on what the mayor said, we should never, and when I say we, I mean we as an American people, we as everyday citizens, should never tolerate anybody being discriminated against, anybody being biased against based upon their religion, race, color, or creed. We are America, and we are big enough for everybody to be in this country. And if you look at the history of this country, every religion has played a part in the development of where we are today.
Also, I was able to take part by invitation with the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Kansas City for a roundtable discussion hosted by the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, so that we could sit around as mayors and in a casual way talk about a lot of issues and problems that we all experience in our cities, either small or large. And to get a conversation going about ideas that are being brought forth in their communities that may be applicable to things that we're trying to do here in Topeka. It was a good opportunity to get to know the regional mayors and to hear a lot of support coming from Kansas City, especially for what Topeka is doing. And they're taking notice of us, and that was one of the reasons I got the invitation to go there. So it's important for us to realize that we don't exist, obviously, in a vacuum, that what we do is watched by many people, not just in this city, but in the region. And so I thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors for that opportunity. And as a follow-up, I've been invited to go and will attend another conference of the mayors in Fort Worth, Texas, early this month, early in May, which is a meeting of mayors and police executives to talk about policing issues, those issues that are always out there for discussion, use of force, recruiting, all those things that relate to the provision of services by a police department to its community, and to look at best practices and bring away from there a feeling of where we are as a community. And that's why initially the first thing I brought up was the professionalism of our department here. I'm very proud to represent Topeka and their police department when I go to these kinds of meetings. But this is something that is always an active, always changing conversation. And so I'm glad to be a part of it and appreciate the invitation from the U.S. Conference of Mayors to attend. I've been associated with them since taking office, and they're a good organization and provide a lot of resources for us. And the final thing that I want to speak to, and that was to acknowledge myself and Commissioner Mays and a number of people in the community who have taken part with the WIBW effort on See Me, Hear Me effort. I think it's a great effort to bring to attention something that many of us have been personally touched by, mental health, and the need for the care of those with mental health needs, and for us to be aware of it and not, as it says, don't be afraid of it, talk about it, find those resources that can help you and your family and your situation. But I think it speaks volumes again to the community that has been asked and has stepped forward to make these short announcements, just as a reminder to take the stigma away from the need for mental health care. So that's the final thing I'd like to speak to. Oh no, there's one more, but I'll save that for the last, city manager.
Okay, thank you. Did you promote me there?
Yep,
Am I now
yeah, I did,
mayor?
yeah.
All right. So, two things I want to hit. Well, actually three. The mental health. Everybody has issues. Everybody in their family has issues. Mental health affects every family. And there are resources out there that all of us can go to. All of us need a little bit of help at times. All of us we may need more. But you can talk to your doctor who can direct you to resources. You can call the mental health agencies in town, Vallejo. If you work for a company that has an employee assistance plan, you can contact the employee assistance plan. Those are, your inquiries are held confidential, but your mental health is important. It's important because it affects not only you, it affects your family, it affects your friends, it affects the people around you. And don't be ashamed to say that I need some help. I need to talk to somebody, because that's what helps you, and that's what helps everyone else. And I appreciate WIBW taking the lead and dealing with this issue in our community. Homeless Initiative, we are cleaning up camps on the Kansas River. We have some large encampments down there, but I want you to know that we don't do this callously. We actually have a team of people. We work with the social service agencies in town, and the city, in cooperation with them, work with people to try and get them relocated, try and get them back into the system, try and help. We take a people-first approach to homelessness, and our Homeless Initiative are finalizing ideas now. They've been working with Sylvan Consulting, and I would anticipate that sometime in the next month or so, they will be coming forward to the, I said city commission, it's city council, all right? So they'll be coming forward to the city council, putting their report before the council, making some recommendations, and it will just not lay on the table. We will take that forth, and council and staff will look at those recommendations and try and put together a strategic plan on how we address homelessness in whatever form. Now, I want you to understand, we can't solve homelessness. That simply is not what the city can do. But what the city can do is help make opportunities available to have a better life and to work their way out of being homelessness.
Okay. One thing, I had an early morning meeting this morning with some of our Shawnee County legislative delegation, and they're here just to visit and talk about some of the initiatives that they might want to bring forward in the next legislative session, because we're being very proactive in preparing for the next legislative session as they are about ready to wind down on the current one. And I think that's important for us. And they were taking some driving tours around Topeka, and it brings me to this topic. One of the senators mentioned, boy, there's an awful lot of traffic cones up. You got to go this way, you got to go that way, detour. In fact, they were late for the meeting because they were unaware of some of the detours. But they laughed about it and said, you know, the thing is that says that Topeka is taking care of business, that it's getting its roads taken care of, it's making the repairs while they can, when they can, in spite of the call to fix things in the middle of winter. You can only do so much in that kind of weather. But right now, while the weather's good, we're going to do as much as we can. So I want to thank the public, but also ask the public to be alert to those notices that go out on the media about where those detours are going to be, how long they're going to be in place, so you can plan your trips accordingly and not get so far behind in your schedule that it tends to make you speed to try and make up that extra time. So I want to thank the public for being patient, because it's kind of what you asked for, and that's what we need to do, and that's to repair all these roads that need our attention. So thank you for taking the time to slow down and pay attention to the detours and the changes in what might be your regular route to work or school. The one thing I wanted to mention too is that on their tour this morning of the body, they were going to stop at Hotel Topeka. And I want to bring that up because, as everybody knows, we currently own the Topeka Hotel, and we're still working on those necessities to enhance the hotel so that as we search for and receive proposals to buy and operate the hotel, that we're in a good position and a good place to do that. One of the questions that come up often are how and if the city and county are working together, because those properties are adjacent to each other and really, quite honestly, are dependent upon each other. And to that end, I have been busy. I met with their county councilor. I've met with 2 of the commissioners, third one I meet with after this meeting. But I called him last night and talked to him. I've asked for and got support and agreement from the county commissioners to start a series of very intentional meetings, work sessions, designed to bring out all those opportunities that the county and the city can share in making this property really enhanced and making it the activity center that we hope it to be. And it's important for us to get these formalized meetings in place, because a lot of things can be said offhanded here, offhanded there, attending different functions. But there needs to be a record of what we're trying to accomplish, what they see as part of their vision, what we see, and then how that vision can be collaborative and include everything that will make us the best package possible for how we market the hotel. So I want to thank the commissioners for doing this, and it's a follow-up to the theme that we presented during the State of the Community presentation, and that is a better and actual working relationship between both governing bodies, so that there is more opportunities than not to get the thoughts, ideas, and make Shawnee County and Topeka the best place possible. And so for that effort, I thank them, and we'll start those meetings very soon. In fact, I'll be meeting with the chair of the commission after this meeting. So that's the last thing I need to bring up.
I'd like to circle back around to the incident with the Topeka Police Department this weekend. I was there. I've been through several incidents of this type in my career, and I've always been there with the police. Policemen do things that they don't like to do in the interest of public safety. And I will tell you that I talked to every one of our policemen that were involved with this weekend. I thank them for being there, for protecting the public, for doing their job. It is no easy task when a lot of people don't understand what happens mentally when you pull your gun, especially if you have to shoot it. The mayor does. But we have good policemen. We have policemen who go out of their way to care about the department, and we have policemen that do their job every day to protect this city and the citizens that are in it and the citizens that visit it. So I just want to say thank you to our public, to our entire public safety, and especially our police department for what they do every day on our behalf.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. So, questions that you might have? Yes?
I'd like to go back to the homelessness conversation real quick, if that's possible, and just kind of talk about the Supreme Court met yesterday, and they heard arguments regarding whether it was violating the 8th Amendment to fine people that are sleeping outside what is kind of the city's outlook on that? And have people been fined? What is that kind of looking like?
I'll leave that to you, city manager. You've been overseeing that.
Yeah, I don't believe that we have, but I can check with the chief to make sure. We've really tried to take a approach of educating and moving people along. But it'll be interesting to see, because this Supreme Court decision, when it comes down, will affect us all in how we do business.
And also, is there an update for what the point in time count looks like now?
Now, update on the point in time.
We're working with the state, and we're gonna plan to release those like mid to late May.
Yep, that's it.
What she said.
Thank you.
Has there been a search started for the new police chief?
That search won't start until we get a new city manager on board. And that'll be probably one of the top priorities. We have a number of priorities right now that city manager will be looking at. But that's going to be something that is, again, done as carefully as we're taking the time to choose a city manager. That's an important role for the city of Topeka. I'm going to thank right now Police Chief Wheelis, who will leave us at the end of June, I believe, is when he'll retire. He and I spent a lot of time working together down at the police department. When I was on the tactical unit, he was there as well with me. He's been a good ambassador, I believe, to the community. He gets out and he likes to engage with the community, and that's important. You know, you can't just deliver services. You have to be a really involved partner with the community to be able to provide that very, very necessary service. So I thank him for his time and his service. But yeah, that's something that we're going to be really talking about. And those kind of questions come up when we're talking about two potential candidates for city managers, what their experience in that area is. Have they gone through that? Were they involved in policy decisions with other police departments? Because that's part of that job too.
Since there's a chance that you guys won't find a new police chief before he retires, have you guys considered who's going to be the interim?
Oh, well, that's the real chance we won't have somebody chosen before Police Chief Wheelis leaves. There will be an interim assignment after Chief Wheelis leaves. And it's important to have that interim come from within, obviously, who knows the department and who's at an executive level who can keep the department running until that transition has been made. Okay, well, I thank you for giving us the time to visit with you, and have a great week.
Thank you. What do we have next?
Visiting with Cook.